Hello everyone, hope you're having a great day. In today's video, we're going to walk through the fastest, easiest online colleges to accelerate college degrees. And I'm talking as fast as 3, 6, 9, 12 months for entire bachelor's degrees. I understand it sounds crazy, it doesn't sound real, but you actually can. We're going to talk about schools that you can accelerate at your own pace, which means you can go learn the material using modern resources like AI or YouTube or the internet instead of textbooks and homework assignments and those types of things. We're going to jump over and I'm going to use this tier list and we're going to rank some of the fastest universities in the entire United States. And we're going to drop them into this tier list and I'm going to show you what schools I like most. Now, if you don't know who I am, my name's Ryan. I earned a bachelor's degree in 9 months after dropping out of school 2 times. I was a 2-time dropout. Then I figured out how to do this college acceleration thing. And I did it with a full-time job and a wife and kids to feed and basically did it in my free time. And since then, I've had so many people ask me to help them graduate faster. And I've started to teach my tactics and methods to lots of other people all over the internet. And I've helped people earn bachelor's degrees as quickly as 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 12 months. It just kind of depends on the student. But the key is you have to find a school that will allow you to move at your own pace. So we're going to start ranking these schools in tiers. Now, if you do like this type of thing, if you want to go get a degree really, really fast, I teach a 3-step process on how to do this. I'll just leave a link to that down below this video. But we got to rank these schools so you know which schools you can actually choose in order to do this. So like the video, subscribe to the channel. Let's dive in. All right, we're going to start with the University of Phoenix. Now, the University of Phoenix claims to have these competency-based education programs, which is what we're looking for self-paced degrees. But they don't have a very good reputation, number one. And number two, they are pretenders. I call them pretenders. Instead of unlimited, go as fast as you can, their competency-based programs say that it takes 4 months to complete 4 courses. That's traditional pace, but you can do the classes at your own pace. They are absolutely pretenders. So what we're going to do is we're going to just go straight here and we're going to drop them in the F category. They get a big F because it's just not a good school and you can't really accelerate. Next, let's talk about Southern New Hampshire University. Now, Southern New Hampshire University, it's basically an average online college. It's not great. It's not bad. It's pretty average. Now, they have actually 2 different ways to accelerate. Number one, you can go and transfer in a whole bunch of credits. And as you can see, they've got testimonials of students saying, I transferred 90 credits into the school and then finished the bachelor's degree in a year. Well, if you transfer in 3 years, you can finish the degree in 1 more year. That's pretty self-explanatory, but you can transfer in up to 3 years of credits from outside resources and only do 1 year the traditional route. What I don't like is that 1 year, the traditional route, because you have to go earn the 90 credits first, and then you still have a year. Well, they also have strategy number 2. They have fully competency-based education programs, which is what I love for full acceleration. But you have to use their community partnerships to even enroll in these programs. Now, what that means is they have partnered with different companies all over the country. They're kind of like tutoring companies, and you enroll through these third parties, and you can get into SNHU's competency-based programs. Now, if we scroll up here, we can see that they have a handful of programs to choose from. They have a couple of associate's degrees, Bachelor in Communication, Healthcare Management, Bachelor of Arts in Management. So not a ton to choose from. So you can accelerate. It's an average school, but I'm going to give them just an average grade because guess what? Because they allow you to accelerate in 2 different ways, but they're not really great at either one of them. They allow both. They're not great at either one, so we're going to give them a flat C. Now, the next one on the list, super popular right now, is University of Maine at Presque Isle. Now, specifically, we're going to talk about their Your Pace programs. So you need to go to umpi.edu/yourpace to find these. Now, these are fully accelerated self-paced programs. You can earn them really quickly. And UMPI accepts a ton of transfer credits, so both are really good. Now, if we go into their Your Pace programs and look at what they have, and Can I just apologize for this school? This is like the worst college website, maybe on the whole internet. It's really bad, but they have a bunch of different options to choose from. One thing I don't love is that a lot of their programs are liberal studies based programs. Like it's a Bachelor of Liberal Studies with like management minors or management and leadership minors. So they have a ton of liberal studies. Now they do have like a BBA, Bachelor of Administration with marketing or some other BBAs as well. But a large portion are these Bachelor of Liberal Studies majors with like psychology minor. I don't love liberal studies degrees. So for that reason, I'm not like a scream from the rooftop UMPI is the greatest thing in the world type guy, because all available data shows that Bachelor of Liberal Arts or Bachelor of Liberal Studies majors are amongst the lower paying majors out there. And I just don't love that. I feel like the purpose of a degree for probably 90+% of people is to go get a better job. I think there's better than liberal arts or liberal studies out there for job purposes alone. Now, the other downside is that they're just not a very well-known school, but I definitely like their programs more than like an SNHU. I'm going to give them like a B-. If they were more well-known because of how good their structure and format is for acceleration, I mean, they could make A- B category, but they're not very well known. Now, for those of you screaming at me being like, UMPI is the greatest, I will show you why some of my opinions of UMPI have been changing at the end of this video. I'm going to show you how to use AI to rank these schools based off of like job outcomes and stuff like that. And they rank pretty low there. So that's why they're going to lose like a half a letter grade for me. Now, the next school on the list is Western Governors University. And if you've followed me for any time at all, you know that's the school I chose for myself. And I'm a huge advocate for a couple of reasons. Now, number one, they have the biggest selection out there of competency-based programs. They've got tons of business programs, tons of tech, tons of health and nursing, tons of education. If we just like go into their online degrees, you can like toggle through all of these. They've got bachelor's degrees, master's degrees for every category. Like they just got a whole bunch of different degrees to choose from. And they're really good at like adding certs and stuff to their degree programs. So you walk away like ready for the job field. And on top of that, they've got a really good history of placing students into like really prestigious grad programs. If we look at grad programs their students have gotten into, you've got like Harvard University, Johns Hopkins University, Loyola, Penn State, Purdue University, Princeton University. You're going to see on their list like 7 out of 8 Ivy League schools. You're going to see a lot of the best schools in the entire United States on this list. And that's really, really a good thing. If you go to WGU for your undergrad, you can get into a really crazy good school for graduate school for your master's or your doctorate degree. Now, on top of that, they're structured differently. I love how WGU is structured for my style of learning. You can study for exams and test out of your classes with like one single exam for the entire class. And that's super helpful if you have previous knowledge as well. But if you don't have previous knowledge, you can go study what you need to study and go take the exam, test out of the class, almost like you're taking a CLEP exam. Really, really awesome. So I'm going to give them the highest rating on my list, and that's an A-. I don't even have an A on this list because I don't think there's any perfect school out there. And I know my ratings are probably more strict than other people's ratings. That's totally okay. I'm just kind of picky. And the knock I have on WGU is they're really not great for accepting transfer credits from the outside unless they exactly match the required credits for the major. Now, that's a good thing and a bad thing. If you're doing everything through the school, which I advocate for, I mean, you get 3-month degrees with no transfer credits at all is possible, then you're going to end up in a situation where like 3 years of worth of the degree is all field of study stuff and only like a year of gen ed, which I love. On the downside, if you have a bunch of transfer credits from another school from the past, sometimes you're going to lose some of those when you enroll. Now, the next school on the list is University of Wisconsin. Now, huge big name school, but the programs here that we're being specific with are these UW flexible option programs. These are fully self-paced programs. Now, they don't have a ton to choose from. They have Associate of Arts and Science, Business Admin, Diagnostic Imaging, Health Science, IT, and a nursing degree. So they don't have a big variety, but it's University of Wisconsin, like a really, really excellent school. Now, one downside is that these specific programs at University of Wisconsin, they're a little bit harder to get into. You might not be admitted if you're just like a random student. You have to have some background qualifications and stuff like that. So not as easy to get into, and the curriculum is more challenging than other schools. So it's not one of those schools you're going to see people whiz through in 3 months, but sub 12-month degrees are possible at University of Wisconsin. Now we're going to take them and we're going to give them maybe a B minus. That certainly have a better reputation and are more well known than like UMPI. UMPI blows them out of the water when you're saying like flexibility and ability to fully accelerate. UMPI definitely wins the battle. This is just prestige alone that's holding them up here. But yeah, it's a solid school for people that are like, I want to do it faster, but I want prestige. Now, speaking of prestige, the next school on the list is University of Kansas. These programs are not even in existence yet, but they have been working on them for years. This is called Jayhawk Flex from the University of Kansas. This is fully competency-based degree programs offered by the University of Kansas, which is an absolutely amazing school, which I love. Now, they've been keeping students updated through this blog here where you can go and learn more. They have over 100 employees working on these flex programs. So they're really going all out in the competency-based education world, which I'm really excited for. Now, their current plan is to launch these programs this fall. So by fall semester, they should be launching at least some of these programs. They have pushed it back. They were going to start last fall. They pushed it back like a year because they're not quite ready, but these look like they're going to be incredible. I'm going to take University of Kansas, and this is wishful thinking. This is not the final grade. We don't know what the final grade is going to be, but if everything works perfectly, like this could be an A-tier type school for these programs. We're going to give them a flat B because if they do everything right, I'm telling you now, I'm going to like these programs more than these programs. But they could also botch it and fail. So they could end up in like the C range. We have no idea. I am wishing this into existence because University of Kansas is a really awesome school and they have 100 employees working on this. So you know they're going all out and it's going to be a really big program, and that's amazing. Now the next school on the list is Texas A&M University. They used to have these programs called Texas A&M Commerce Competency-Based Education Programs. They changed the name to East Texas A&M University. So think kind of like University of Maine at Presque Isles, your PACE programs to the University of Maine school. Like it's part of the system, but it's not officially Texas A&M anymore. It's East Texas A&M. Now, if you live in Texas, these programs are affordable and they're really solid. They have just a small handful to choose from. They've got nursing, criminal justice, law enforcement, general studies, health services, admin, human resource development, nursing, organizational leadership. They've got public admin, safety and health, just a handful to choose from, but some really unique offerings. Like you got to give them some points for finding holes in the marketplace and offering certain programs that other schools aren't. That's a big deal. Now, we're going to rate them, but we got to talk about cost because rating is going to be different depending where you live. If you live in Texas, great programs, great prices. If you don't live in Texas, they double the cost. So that's not cool. If you live in a state that borders Texas, we're talking like 20% increase on the state residence price. So it depends on where you live. So this, like, it's not a good fit for everyone. We're going to give them maybe a C just because it's for most of the country, it's not going to be as good. If you live in Texas, we'll probably give them a B minus. The next school on the list is UMass Global. Now, this is the University of Massachusetts, and they went and purchased another competency-based online school, and they basically turned it into their global or their worldwide online programs. And they've got some really cool programs. If we go into Explore Degrees, you've got to sift for their online self-paced programs. And what we're looking at is these MyPath programs. They have an associate's degree, and then they have a bunch of like business and tech offerings. I love that they have tech. WGU is the king of tech. But if you're looking for a non-WGU school that's not like exam-based and more project-based, this is a solid option for different tech degrees. And then like a lot of other schools, they have one offering for a master's degree, and that's organizational leadership. But decent selection for business and tech. Outside of those, there's really not much going on. But having said that, I really like this school. I've had students who struggle with the exams at WGU, then transfer over to University of Massachusetts Global and do like more than a class a week at University of Massachusetts Global. So like a 6 to 12 month bachelor's degree, totally possible. And I really like them. Now, I would put them on par. Man, I don't know, maybe B or B minus, because I'll have so many people barking at me if I rank UMass Global over UMPI. I better put them at a B minus, but there's a big part of me that likes UMass Global more than UMPI because it's just a bigger brand and a bigger name school, and their programs are really, really similar to UMPI's programs. So definitely something to consider. Now, the next school on the list is Walden University. Now, Walden University has traditional online programs, and they also have what are called these tempo learning programs. These are the programs that are fully self-paced. Now, my opinion has changed a little bit over the last couple years with Walden University. Before, I was like, Walden, just bad reputation. I can't just don't go there. Don't even consider them. Here's the thing. They have some offerings that other schools don't. So if we look at programs offered, they've got like early childhood studies. They do have criminal justice. They have public health. Things like early childhood studies, that's like pretty hard to find. Another thing like a hackable master's degree in psychology, if you want to become a therapist, that's really hard to find competency-based. So they've got some offerings that kind of change the don't consider them at all opinion. A lot of students have really loved Walden, and a lot of students hate Walden. They've had some controversy in the past. But I just had a student finish this program here, Early Childhood Studies. She came in with an associate's degree, and then she finished this program, like 2 more years of school, in like 6 or 7 weeks. So you can earn a bachelor's degree really, really fast. So because of that, like I'm going to take Walden and I'm going to put them maybe like in the C range. If they have a program that other schools don't, and it gets you the job you're trying to get, it's a school you can earn a degree. Like they're regionally accredited. You can get a degree really quickly. But if you're comparing like a traditional business degree from one of these other schools, like I would go to one of these other schools. It just kind of depends on the degree you're trying to get. The next school on the list is Excelsior University. Now, Excelsior University is really famous for that. For a long time, they've accepted tons and tons of transfer credits, and then you basically finish the degree at Excelsior University. If you go to their Start with More Credit tab, you'll see they've got some information here on, they give tons of credit for prior learning, things like that. But this is a school that will offer like over 100 transfer credits for a bachelor's degree, which students, if you've like almost finished a degree somewhere else and you fell out with that school and need to transfer in somewhere else, sometimes this university is a good fit. Although if you bring in all those transfer credits, it's going to be like a liberal arts or a liberal studies degree. So keep that in mind. But it's definitely what I call a situational school. Like the stars have to align for this to be the school, and it's kind of expensive as well. So if you don't have 3+ years of a degree already earned, I probably tell you don't even look or consider this school. But for some students, it can be a good fit. The next school on the list is Capella University. Now, Capella has traditional online programs, which do not attend their traditional online programs because like you don't want to attend Capella for 4 years. That wouldn't be cool. But I'm going to use business as an example. We're going to go to their business degrees, Bachelor of Science in Business, and I'm going to show you what to look for. You're going to look for degrees where on the degree page, it offers this FlexPath format here. These are fully self-paced. These FlexPath programs, they're pretty decent programs. Capella has kind of a rocky, kind of like Walden, they kind of got a rocky reputation. They've had some controversy in the past, things like that. Like you can go to Google and look at their controversy, go and read about them and see. They do another school that, you know what, they've got master's degrees in psychology in this FlexPath format, which is really hard to find. So you got to give them brownie points for having some offerings that other schools don't. But outside of attending Capella for a specific program that's really hard to find, I probably would steer towards other schools. But again, it's one of those schools where I've had students graduate really fast because they're like trying to be a therapist. I'm going to just throw them here in the C category. I know some people would be like D or F, but this is about career outcomes. And my opinion has changed just a little bit with this. I'm going to show you this AI ranking for career outcomes and stuff. They actually rank higher than some other schools for career outcomes, which is an important thing. And if you're wanting a degree for the career and this actually matches up with the career you're trying to get, then you need to look at that. Now, the next school on the list is Liberty University. Liberty is another one of those schools that accepts a whole bunch of transfer credits, like up to 3 years of transfer credits, and then you finish the last year at Liberty. I'm a much bigger fan of fully competency-based programs, which they do not offer. But the reason I want to show Liberty is because they have a ton of offerings. If we go to degrees and search for bachelor's degrees, now scroll down and look at some of their degree offerings. Now, obviously, you got to look at their online programs, but like an online program in apologetics and cultural engagement, applied ministry, applied statistics, aviation, an online aviation degree where you can transfer in like a few years of your degree from outside sources and then like finish through Liberty. So they've got such a huge variety that when students come to me and they're like, I need this super specific degree, sometimes we need to look at a school like this. And Liberty has a really solid reputation as well. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take Liberty and I'm going to put them in situational, but I like Liberty a lot more than I like Excelsior for reputation alone. They have way more offerings as well. The next school on the list is Purdue University Global. Now, Purdue Global has traditional online programs just like a lot of these schools, but if we look at their degree programs, I'm going to use business as an example as well, but you're going to look for these Excel track bachelor's degrees. So if you see the Excel track format, like for this example, it's business administration. They have Excel track. If you look at finance, they do not for finance. But what you're going to do is look at these Excel track programs. And those are the programs that are fully accelerated. They've got some business, they've got some tech, some nursing, things like that. And you've got the Purdue name behind the school, which is pretty cool as well. Now, they are structured a little bit differently. Instead of traditional 120 credits, you earn 180 smaller credits, but it's still like the same amount of time, like 4-year degrees, right? But it's self-paced with a couple of caveats. They have a couple little rules that prevent it from being like, you can go get the degree in 3 months or 4 months or 5 months, because they have like limitations. Like if you're starting at 0, you can't take the final in that same semester or the capstone project in that same semester. You like have to do it in a new semester. Couple little random rules that slow you down a little bit, but they're not like capping you like University of Phoenix. I've seen students earn 7 or 8 month bachelor's degrees from Purdue Global from 0 with some complaints of the red tape. It's not the end of the world if you want a degree from Purdue, but because of that, I mean, you got to give them a half a strike, I guess. I'm going to maybe pair them with like the UMass Global with these. These are all kind of situational. Like if you want a tech degree, don't go to UMPI, go to UMass Global or Purdue Global or WGU. If you want to study liberal studies, go to UMPI, not UMass Global or Purdue Global. So it kind of depends on your situation. Now, the last school on the list, Thomas Edison State University, and then I'm going to show you some like career-based rankings for these schools using AI. But Thomas Edison is pretty cool. They've been around for a really long time. They're notorious for accepting tons of transfer credits, which they've got a bunch of different programs where you can transfer in these credits, but they also have what are called these TCEP exams. And it's kind of like a CLEP exam just for Thomas Edison. If we go to their search bar and we just search TCEP, T-E-C-E-P, you're going to see some more information about their TCEP program. This is basically a credit by examination program. And if we look up their specific TCEP exams, you'll see they've got like a whole bunch of different exams. These are all classes you can test out of. Now, they're a little more expensive and they do charge you extra if you use more TCEP exams than they traditionally allow. You can pay like an extra fee out of your pocket, like a couple $1,000s, and finish like the whole rest of your degree with TCEP exams. So some little caveats, but solid reputation if you want to bring in like a ton of outside credits and then test out of the rest. Some pretty unique offerings. Now, I'm going to take them and I'm going to place them in the situational category as well. Now, if we look at these rankings, I know I have different opinions than some people. I want to talk about career outcomes based on the actual school you're choosing. Now, we're going to use some AI to do this. I use ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, and Grok. Those are like my 4 main AI tools that I use. I've really been liking Grok, and it's x.com or Twitter. It's like built within it. The reason I like it is because it can actually search the internet. A lot of these other AI tools are amazing. I use them all the time, but they don't have the capability to like take a prompt and go search the internet to find an answer. And that's why I'm using Grok in this situation. Now, as you can see, I'm asking Grok to rank schools in terms of history of job placement and credibility. When I say job placement, please consider income level and employment rates. And then I gave it a couple of schools: SNHU, University of Maine at Presque, WGU, UMass Global, Purdue Global. Obviously, you can put all these schools or every school that you're considering, you can go plug into AI and go do some research. Here's what it says. Number 1, in terms of credibility and job placement, WGU. I love that. That's something I researched before I personally chose WGU. SNHU as second. Kind of surprising, right? Purdue Global as third. UMass Global as fourth, and UMPI in last place, fifth. You do have to consider like UMPI is a way smaller school. So they have way less students like reporting data and stuff. But it looks like Grok even mentioned like there wasn't a ton of standout data for Purdue Global or UMass Global, but it says UMPI decent regional outcomes. So if you live in the area, but smallest scale and lowest income potential. And that kind of scares me. And you can ask Grok, like go further prompt and ask like, hey, give me these resource links so I can go look deeper and learn about these things. But that's always something to consider is like, what's this going to do for my career? I'm a huge advocate for choose your career, decide what you want to do, and then choose the fastest degree that will give you that solid career opportunity. And that's how I personally choose schools and choose degree programs. I hope this video has helped. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you want to learn more about how I help students hack college degrees, I will leave some links down below in the video description. Have a wonderful day. Talk to you in the next one.